Just how has that kind of, the maturation of getting those guys together, how's that been for you? I know you only had one game, but kind of how's that been in terms of you guys getting on the same page?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're training is important. Obviously, trying to work out as many kinks as possible in training. But it's not the first time that for me in particular, but for any sports teams that you are encountering these hurdles that we have to overcome with language barriers and such. But I think it's always a nice thing because it really forces you to spend a little bit more time with new players. To communicate with body language and read them a little bit better, and so you get to know people a little bit that way as well, rather than always just saying exactly what you need or want. So it's about getting to know each other and communicating in whatever way you can. I'll work on my Spanish as much as I can, and Portuguese you just throw a little bit of jumble at the end of Spanish, right? It's the same thing. No, but it's all good. I think we've grown so far as a team, and looking forward to further growth.
Have you ever played that? I'm asserting. I mean, these guys, the players in front of you, the center backs, and even their ability to kind of control the ball. Have you played with players that that have such good touches to be able to play the ball out from the back?
Each player is different that you play with. I mean, it's not just technique and being comfortable on the ball. There's different ways of being comfortable on the ball. I mean, Chad could get a ball and be very clean, especially for his size, and launch a 70-yard ball in a matter of one step. Does that mean he's technically really good with his feet? It's not playing out of the back per se, but it's technically extremely good. Torsten Frings played for me in the back a few times in Toronto. Someone that's probably known for his technical ability. I think it's very important that you just find out what kind of players you have and what their abilities are. What are their strengths? What are their things that they don't like to do as much? And then you try to feed into those things that they're really good at. If I get a ball and the way I give them the ball, I want to set them up for success. When I play out of the back. So it's important knowing each other's strengths so that you can utilize those. So it's still early on, but so far I think we've been all working really, really hard. Jamar has incorporated quite well, I think, into the squad already. Some other players that have come new to the team, so it's still early on, but it's gonna take more than 11 players. We know that, right? The season's long, and especially with multiple competitions to play for. We're going to need to be deep. So it's still early and we're still gelling, but I like what I'm seeing so far.
Steph, you mentioned Jamar there. What do you make of his game early on after that first outing?
Yeah, good. He's a very athletic guy. I think he's learning quickly, which is a really good trait that you see right away. For the first time we were on a training ground together and working on crosses, and I gave him a really sharp away. He thought that I was coming, so it was a really good, right away, a really good learning point of him picking up on the difference between away and keeper and portero or whatever, and teaching him those simple terms. And then within a couple of days he had it down already. So again, I think that's a good trait to see the way he's able to adapt and grow and figure out the team he's playing for now as well, and the way we want to play. So. Way too early on to say anything, but again, so far really excited with what I'm seeing.
Did you get an explanation of the lack of action by the referee on that challenge on your side?
No, I did not. I don't think they like to argue as much with their players. It's more of an authority situation where you just have to respect their authority. But I was just upset with it because I think I'm very fortunate that I was able to really turn my body and twist my sternum out of the way, because if he catches me straight on into the chest, I don't know what's going to happen there. So it is what it is. I'd like to be protected a little bit more. I think that's one of the jobs of referees. And I don't have to roll around on the field for 10 minutes for him to realize that maybe it was something a little bit more serious than he thought it was. But yeah, I'm fortunate that I'm standing and being able to play, and we'll concentrate on the next game.
Stefan, I know you're a long way before you have a chance to do it. Got to win some more games, but the chance for the Sounders to make history, the first MLS team to win this tournament, How big of a deal would that be for the legacy of this franchise and just to be a part of that in general?
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a huge opportunity. I think it's one that you're going into the history books of more than just a team. You're going in the history books of the league, right? Of the history of this sport in this country. So it's a really big one. Very difficult still at this point, with the way we're seeing us going down to Honduras and them having already a few games under their belt and us coming in straight out of preseason. It's difficult. It's very difficult. So facing the tougher Mexican opponents that obviously have some good quality in them, and they're also a little bit ahead of us. It's very difficult. So who knows if it's truly going to take a change in that format to give these teams a better chance, the MLS teams, but regardless, you view it as an opportunity every year, right? Because anything can happen in the game. So we're trying to be as prepared as possible, realize it's a huge opportunity, and just go as far as we can without really, I think, throwing away the beginning of our season as well. That's very important, right? I mean, I don't want to see Guadalajara again, where we're putting so much work and sweat, blood, and tears into it, injuries, and then have nothing to show for, but have 3 games, 3 losses in the first three games in the season. So it's a fine balance. It's difficult, but like you said, a huge opportunity, and I think we're aware of that.
Do you feel you got everything out of Mexico that you wanted to get out of your training camp stay there?
Yeah, I think Mexico was difficult, but it was also very good. It was a bit of a confined situation. We were on lockdown for the most part, but the facilities were good. The field was good. The altitude was challenging. The training was hard, but for me personally, I was able to stay fit and truly go to work every day. And so I think I feel really good right now. I feel that was one of the better preseasons I've had personally, to get me ready and just be able to push. I think it's one of the times during the year where you can push if you're healthy. That is, right? It's difficult because you're coming into getting used to beating up your body again, and then trying to push, and people pick up nicks and bruises, and then it's allowing them not to push that hard anymore. I was able to push pretty much every day, and that's one of the first times I've been able to do that in a long, long time. So really happy with that on a physical and technical level. And like I said, the lungs getting that extra bonus is something that I think it'll wear off physically, but I think mentally that stuff sticks with you. So I think that was probably good for us.
You talked about the fatigue of the preseason. Did that manifest itself in the last, say, 30 minutes of that game? And how important was it for you guys to still take the 2 away goals and a tie out of that as a result?
Yeah, I mean, we went in this game saying, that I think it's 180 minutes plus. You have to make sure that, if we give up a goal, you can't let that, turn into a bigger hole. Obviously, we're up 2-0. That's great. We wanted to maybe take a win home. But 2 away goals is good. I think it's a good achievement. It's difficult. Like I said, we're coming from altitude and going from altitude straight into humidity. It's really nice to find your lungs, but at the same time, you're sweating. I don't know how many liters of sweat because it's so damn humid down there. So it's a different challenge, right? And I think we saw that the last 20-30 minutes. We didn't really find a way to combat that by playing a bit smarter, maybe maintaining a bit more possession, making them chase the ball a little bit, and then them having to be fatigued a little bit. So, but all things to look at and get better at. But overall, I think there was also quite a few positive things to take from. And like I said, with a 2-2 going home, 2 away goals, we'll take that. I expect us to play better at home, be more in control, and take it to them.
Steph, what are your early impressions of Joao Paulo in that game, and then just being out here with him and training in this last few weeks?
Yeah, a really good addition to the team. His technicality, his ability, his soccer IQ is evident within minutes, and I like the little details. He's a very observant guy. I think he doesn't talk too much, but he observes veterans of the team and sees how they behave and interact and tries to follow their lead. So I think he's also, just as a human being, he's a smart guy. So everything I've seen so far, I've really liked. Get along with him quite well. He's integrated, awesome. Great vision. I mean, exactly I think what we expected, or I think what we scouted him for and need out of him. And so he's an amazing addition to our team.